Hello and Assalamu alaikum. Ex-Division Cadet Sabir Shah here for my channel Aviation Cadet 9936. Today I will talk about three issues. All three of them are current affairs. Number one is the aftermath of Pakistan-India conflict happened on May 7th and then May 10th. So there's an update about that one. Pakistan claimed to have 6 Indian aircrafts down, but the recent media reports and the military attaché of India, he confirmed some of them, but the Indian media reporter went beyond that and actually said that 11 of Indian aircraft were down. So what's the story behind that one? I would say the first part of this segment. Story number two is recently ShenZhen Airlines, flying from Guangzhou to Shanghai, faced a severe emergency, but was landed safely, and I happened to travel that aircraft just a few days ago. What I observed and what happened on the later flight, talk about that too. And the third one, a very tragic incident that happened in Pakistan. That should be on the top of my priority, but because that was going to be a little longer segment, so I will discuss it at the end, where 18 people were drowned in the urban flood water that just came out of nowhere and took 18 people with it. 9 of them have been rescued, and the rest of them are still not found. So let's hope for the best for those people. Rest in peace. So let's come to the first segment. So the other day I was watching the news channels, and then there's a not very famous Indian channel, but the female newscaster, she claimed that Pakistan has downed 11 jets. So remember that Pakistan claims 6 jets, 3 Rafales, one Sukhoi 30, one MiG-29, and one Mirage 2000. Mirage 2000 was later on in one drone. But this woman, she came up and said 8 Rafales were down, and then rest of the 3. So she brought the tally up to 11.
विमान नष्ट हुए फ्रांसीसी कंपनी का बड़ा खुलासा। पाकिस्तान और भारत के बीच हाल ही में हुई हवाई झड़प के बारे में और तथ्य सामने आए हैं। पाकिस्तान और भारत के बीच हाल ही में हुई हवाई झड़प को लेकर एक चौंकाने वाला खुलासा हुआ है, जिसे विशेषज्ञों ने दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा हवाई युद्ध करार दिया है। राफेल लड़ाकू विमान बनाने वाली मशहूर फ्रांसीसी कंपनी डेसॉल्ट एविएशन ने अपने शोध में खुलासा किया है कि झड़प में कुल 11 भारतीय लड़ाकू विमान नष्ट हुए, न कि 7, जैसा कि भारतीय रक्षा मंत्रालय दावा कर रहा था। फ्रांसीसी कंपनी का एक उच्च स्तरीय प्रतिनिधिमंडल हाल ही में भारत आया और विमानों की सही संख्या की पुष्टि करने के लिए राफेल स्क्वाड्रन का निरीक्षण करने का अनुरोध किया। हालांकि भारत सरकार ने निरीक्षण की अनुमति देने से साफ इनकार कर दिया। इस इनकार के बाद डेसॉल्ट एविएशन ने अपनी जांच की, जिसमें सैटेलाइट इमेज, लॉजिस्टिक्स रिकॉर्ड, वारंटी और जमीन पर मरम्मत के आंकड़ों की सावधानीपूर्वक जांच की। जांच रिपोर्ट में कहा गया है कि भारत ने कम से कम 11 युद्धक विमान खो दिए, जिनमें शामिल हैं 8 राफेल लड़ाकू विमान, 1 सुखोई Su-30, 1 MiG-21 और 1 निगरानी विमान। ये सभी विमान।
Now Pakistan claimed 6. Which ones? The ones which were in the air on May 7th. And May 7th was the day when India launched a proper offensive attack on Pakistan with almost 24 to 28 Rafales and the other fleets. So altogether, there were 72 aircrafts that took part in that attack on Pakistan. And nobody crossed each other's borders. And Pakistan retaliated with 42 aircrafts in the air. So this was one of the biggest air battlefield after World War II. That was 1945. That ended then. So in the last, 80 years, this was the biggest air battle. And Pakistan was defending their borders. Remember that Pakistan did not launch the attack. We just defended, and yet the score was 6-0. India had all the time to prepare, and it was their time of choosing. It was their decision when to attack, how to attack, how many aircraft are going to come in, do whatever. Out of 200,000 mosques in the country, they just picked up a few and then attacked them and killed innocent women and children. But in retaliation, the same night, Pakistan downed their 6 of the major aircrafts. Now, I don't know if there are any colonel aircrafts or captain aircrafts, but you know what I mean by major aircrafts. So Why 11? Why the figure of 11? Well, this is to be followed up to May 10th. By the way, on that day, one of our GF Thunder on May 7th actually destroyed one of the batteries of S-400, the newly bought Russian defense system that India has gotten. So all this destruction which Pakistan claimed, because we have digital proofs of that one, and with the ground evidence, we can prove it. So Indians, their military spokesperson, the CDC, CDS, sorry, the Chief of Defense Staff, confirmed, and recently Mr. Shiv Kumar, I think that was the military attaché, and he also confirmed. So here is the video. Listen to his words.
Agree that we did lose some aircraft, and that happened only because of the constraint given by the political leadership.
Now, although he said one, but in the others, he said maybe more. CNN confirmed that one of the French official has confirmed at least one on the conditions of anonymity. He doesn't want to show his face and say his name. At least one. You were the offensive ones. You came to attack a country, and yet you couldn't make that country bleed, and then you have your own losses, which we claim 6, and they said 1, and now they are 11, and we are still at 6 because the other 5. What happened? May 10th, when they attacked Pakistan Noor Khan base and some of the other bases, Goda base and Reed Cape, there's a base there too, Bahawalpur as well, and we attacked. We launched our offensive. Now this offensive on May 10th at Pakistani time 4:38 in the morning, Operation Banyan Mursus, is considered to be bigger than combined 5 conflicts with India. 1948, Kashmir, when we took half of it. 1965, Operation Gibraltar. 1975, the fall of Dhaka. 1999, the famous Kargil War. And 2019, Operation Swift Retort. What we launched, Pakistan Air Force launched on that day, is considered to be bigger attack on any nation than combined 5 of those attacks, or how many aircrafts took part in those 5 altogether. How many took part in this? Only one operation weighs more than those ones. So what were these guys doing in Indian airspace? Jumping, or just went to have a kulfi or gutka, or just went to smoke a joint and come back? No, they went there for business, and a fighter pilot's business is see the target and just make it disappear. None of the Indian aircraft retaliated. None. 0. Because they were bamboozled that how can Rafale be hit? Once Rafale was hit, and if you compare it with Operation Swift Retort 2019, when they got these Mirage 2000 with Spice missiles, Israeli Spice missiles, and they dropped the payloads and killed our tree and a crow, they went back. But they did enter Pakistan's airspace from Balakot and went back for a few seconds. But still, they had to enter because Spice missiles did not have that much BVR range. The beyond visual range was not that big. 60 kilometers, 60 miles probably. So they had to come in, and still they couldn't do whatever they claimed. They couldn't destroy that one and went back. So this time they had Rafale, which is 150 plus, like about 200 kilometers away. It can hit the target. So they were in their borders. Hey, we are gonna come to you. Who came? Let the history repeat itself again. So Pakistan somehow got PL-15 and J-10Cs, and boom, the whole world is talking about that. And we did down there the number of aircrafts we have claimed. So for that reason, they never saw it coming. So they got all their aircrafts, all Sukhoi 30s, MiG-29s, Rafales, beyond the Pakistani missile ranges. So they were at 300 kilometers back from the border, so that at least they knew that PL-15 is capable of at least 300 kilometers. And that's why none of those aircraft flew on May 10th. Once our DG ISPR, he did a press conference in the morning of May 10th, and he said, now wait for our response. We are coming now. And right after that, 15 minutes later, the Operation Bunyan al-Marsus was launched. So what did those guys do? Now imagine 72 aircrafts which knew their missions. They had their, mentally prepared that they were going to come and attack Pakistan, and yet they got 10% of their fleet was wounded or destroyed completely. So imagine when they were sitting ducks, what Pakistan Air Force pilots would have done to them. So if I assume there will be whole fleets missing of the aircrafts, because this was meant to be attacked on the runways, on the air bases, because we had all of them. And not my intel, but through some of the sources out of Pakistan Air Force, they told me that Batinda is the place which Pakistan military forces are going to attack. That was before May 7th, because that's a hub where all the ammunition goes to all over the Indian air bases or whatever, places are. And I tagged Mr. Major Grove Arya, and I said, we're coming from Batinda, and see, one Rafale was down at Batinda too. So we knew their nerves, from where to hold their nerves. So you think how many we would have damaged on the ground, those sitting ducks. Let's get to part 2. So I was flying from Bangkok to Shanghai on ShenZhen Airlines. Flight number, I was seeing a boarding pass and displayed under. It was Boeing 737-800 MAX. Yes, the one, the MCAS system failed 3 times, and all the aircraft went to a nosedive and boom into the ground. Only the Chinese one recovered a bit, but still went down again. So when we were taxiing out of Bangkok airport, the sound was not right. Flaps position, because previously in the previous aircraft, which we flew from Shenyang to Shanghai, and from Shanghai to Bangkok, when we were going out of China, the way the flaps were laid, because my seat was window seat, so I was videoing everything, which is my hobby. I post everything aviationally on my channel. So there are 2 sets of flaps at the back, and once it was Airbus A320, by the way, the first 2. So the flaps were really nicely, although there were 2 pieces, but they came down together. They came up first, and the takeoff was smooth, and the takeoff run was good. And on the taxiway, there was not a big problem. You don't feel any kind of, jitters and shocks. So we arrived in Bangkok, had our fun. On the way back, it was ShenZhen Airlines, and this time it was Boeing 737-800 MAX. So all those stories came by, but I'm a pilot, so I'm not scared at all. But when this aircraft started to taxi, and before taxiing, they deployed the flaps to down position because preparing for takeoff. So you could do it on the runway, or you could do it before the runway. It's up to you. And this time, my seat was also next to the window and on the left side. And these 2 flaps, when they came down, they were away from each other. anomaly I noticed, and during the whole taxi out time, they were trembling and shivering. Now, it could be because the Bangkok taxiway probably is not so smooth, but we just landed a few days ago on Airbus 320, sorry, and we didn't find any abnormality. It was smooth taxiway, so it can't be changed. So this was problem with the aircraft. Once it took off, and man, once the gears were pulled up, right after, once you get the positive height, once the gears were pulled up, I heard a scream, literally. Listen to the video. I'll play it again, that part again and again, 2 or 3 times, so that you should know. So see, this was the sound coming out of that aircraft. That scared the bejesus out of me, but my wife was right next to me, so I just kept quiet and said, if I freak out, if she is a scared flyer, so well, anyhow, and upon landing, we noticed the same thing, and the same thing was that once he got the gears down, again that sound. That sound, screeching sound came out, and I've never heard these kind of sounds ever in the cockpits, in the passenger area, because fuselages are mostly soundproof, and you don't hear much what's happening outside. So this was that loud that it was higher than the engine sound, and the sound could come into the fuselage where we sit. So this was very abnormal. Well, anyhow, we landed, and the next flight was very normal. Nothing much happened, and landed back in Shenyang 2 days later to yesterday. And I was looking at my WeChat channel, and once I scrolled up, boom, ShenZhen Airline. ShenZhen Airline, flight number blah, blah, blah. It had a sudden drop of height. The airplane went, upon landing, it went down right after takeoff, it went down so quickly that all the passengers, their noodles were in the air. And one of them even said that my butt was not on the seat, it just went up. Luckily, he was wearing a seatbelt, otherwise, many people die because of not wearing seatbelts, and this kind of condition happens. So the same aircraft went down quickly, so I guess it was a problem with the landing gear. But what happened, they landed back. Once they landed back, what they did was, it was delayed for about 50 minutes, the flight, and then it took off again, and the passenger reported that it was not the same aircraft. They changed the aircraft. I mean, it's not they pulled the Houdini or David Copperfield. Definitely they had the, bypass, and that's what has happened. So today in the morning, I sent to ShenZhen Airlines a detailed email. I don't know if it was right or not, but something didn't feel right to me. So I wrote them an email, attached the video to it. Well, let's see if they're going to work on it or not. But I mean, China is not only China, the whole world aviation is the best mode and the safest mode to fly. Let's get to part three. Part three was terrible. In summer times, mostly in Pakistan, all the hot area people, they take their families during the vacation, because this is the time for kids to have summer vacation, and take them to the northern areas, which are pretty cooler at this time of the year. And the tourism industry booms during this time. And billions of rupees are generated during this whole monsoon season and this hot season. And unfortunately, the local rescue facilities were not up to the standard, and those people got stranded in water for about 2 hours, and all of them, the water took them away. Now, people are playing blame games, this and that. Who should be blamed? Well, I think all the industrial countries should be blamed for that. Those who are producing carbon components, and Pakistan is the least in the world. 0.02% of carbon we release in the atmosphere, and yet Pakistan is among top 3 countries that receive these climate change, these weather change, global warming victims. We are one of the top 3 victims in the world. And this whole world has to think about it. After the North Pole and South Pole, Pakistan is the biggest country in the world that has the highest number of glaciers than anywhere else in the world. We have 7,000 glaciers. And this global warming, within 5 to 10 years, the average temperature of the Earth is going to be increased from 1 degree to 4.5 degrees. And these old glaciers, when they would melt, this is going to be a hot plate and a big catastrophe. I mean, we are going to lose about 40% of our agriculture. This land is going to be gone. All this cultivatable land is going to go away. So this incident, actually, the whole industrial world is responsible for that. Yep, we don't have much of the life-saving equipment. Probably we're not mentally prepared for that. And it has never happened before. I mean, it has been happening through certain periods of time, but this is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the world has to come up and do something about that. Train Pakistani people, start new courses which should help even the kids at school to get basic training from these kind of, catastrophic events. Japan trains their kids for earthquakes from grade 1 on. We've been from the kindergarten onward. In China, I've seen my kids have been going through all these fire emergency drills, even at a kindergarten. So we need resources, and the countries who are responsible for that, they should provide us with those ones. So this is what I want to say about this incident. Very sad to hear. May their families find the peace, and may their souls rest in peace. Thank you very much, Allah Hafiz.